Welcome back to War Thunder. Welcome back to Norway. Welcome aboard the Seafire FR 47 and to again a gameplay that is far from being perfect. Now here you can see the stat card of the Seafire FR 47, and that is not actually the real performance that I flew it with, because that stat card was photographed, so to speak, after I finished this mission, because I am currently kind of in a respating process. You know, when I'm sick and tired of playing tanks, I can play planes, and currently certain Griffon Spitfires, to which I count the Seafire FR 47, they got 150 octane fuel because they desperately needed it. Yeah. Now there's a lot to talk about in this match and the video, and want to talk about. In yesterday's Duck Talks, I mentioned that War Thunder is now in full release, which everybody of you should already know. It's, for a few weeks now. With patch 1.65 or 2 days afterwards, the game got released. It was kind of silent, and the only remarkable thing that we players received was 70% discount packages, and I thought they are really worth the money. However, when a game is in beta, it's in beta for a reason, because there are bugs, there are glitches, there are things that have to be corrected before you release the game. And War Thunder has, well, it has not really changed, which on one hand is good. On the other hand, as we will see in this match, there are things that we have to talk about that are really not that great. Now the Seafire FR 47 is a very nice plane. It looks awesome. The design of the plane, the model, the cockpit, everything is really great about this plane. There are just two things that are not great about this plane. First of all, the engine sound. Come on, Gaijin. No, seriously, come on. I've heard Griffon Spitfires on YouTube videos, and listen to this. That my lawnmower sounds better than this. Technically, I don't have one, but the one that my aunt has, and so on. The thing is, it just annoys the hell out of me. And for example, when I fly B409s, the plane is completely, utterly garbage. The G and the K series, flight performance-wise, into what they have to face. They're difficult to make work, and not just because of the armament. We will come back to the armament topic in this game in a moment. Now, what I'm doing here on Norway is climbing, and I think I played a little bit around with manual engine control. Yeah, there it is. So, to keep the engine cool, and that has a good effect on the plane's cooling performance, while the flight performance actually does not, or the climb performance rather, does not suffer if you do it right. I'm not an expert on it, and when it comes to the actual combat, I go back to the auto engine control to, not over rev the engine, or to have the right supercharge gear, for example, when it comes to different altitudes, so on. And that greatly helps out to control the overheat in the climbing process, that is. And Norway is a good map to fight on, because for all props, that is, and a lot of the jets as well, because it is cool. When you fight on Spain, for example, your engines overheat much faster. That is, understandable. The air is hotter on Spain than it is on Norway. Kind of, logical when you listen to it. However, Spitfires, the next thing that really annoys me a little bit about this plane is that it has 4 Hispano Mark V cannons with 460 rounds. And while 420 Blazed is amazing, it's not really amazing in this patch, and we will see later on that it works both ways. First of all, that was poor shooting. That was totally my fault. I was kind of, not really the greatest shooter here, but it will change later on, hopefully. Now, dogfighting a Horton is not the smartest thing you can do, even in a Spitfire. I have to say the FR-47 is not as maneuverable as, Spitfires of former generations, especially the Mark 9. Oh boy, is the Mark 9 a beast in the air, especially when you use flaps in the right way. The next thing that you just could see here for a short moment was that the FR-47 actually has counter-rotating props, and that was sad that I didn't connect any shots. Counter-rotating props, they have certain benefits. You can look it up on Wikipedia and so on. Does it translate into the game? Well, it doesn't make a massive difference. It's in simulator certainly amazing for starts, because you have no torque, no real torque from the prop blades. Yeah, and what you just saw will be the major topic of this video. But before we come to what you just saw, I just wanted to point it out that I miss machine guns. 50 cals, 7.7s, I like to have them. And on average, 2 Hispanos with more ammunition are preferred by me in comparison to 4 20s. Horrible shooting here, but it's good enough. And I'm almost out of ammunition. And shooting down biplanes is not the most difficult task, but whatever, I take it. Was it honorable? Yeah, not quite. And we will come to the honorable part later on as well. So that I claimed my second kill, I'm almost out of ammunition, and I fake a head-on with the ME-262. I have to say, the ME-262 A2A, whenever I saw it lately, the last few days, it seems to be better in terms of flight performance, maneuverability, and controllability than the regular one, even stock, and that just baffles me, because it also has a lower battle rating. Well, also there is a lot of talking going on about the tank, the reward tank, the Type 62, and Gaijin actually asked the community today, as of I am recording this video, if the tank should get its heat shell. And we should be aware that it would result in a battle rating raise from 5.7 currently to 6.7. And I have to say, whatever Gaijin does, the tank should be raised in its BR, by default. Don't get me wrong, I like strong tanks, I like capable tanks, and this tank has, let's say, drawbacks. Slow turret rotation speed, and also, poor gun depression. I personally can work around it, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. Now, I'm currently flying back to the carrier to land on it. Shouldn't be too difficult, as this plane has an arrestor hook, as far as I know. We will see later on. The thing is, why I'm mentioning the tank is, I don't want to make an extra video about it, and it was too late to be recorded for the duck talk. However, it doesn't matter if it does get the heat shell or it stays where it is currently, because just think about this. The major argument is that it can't penetrate a King Tiger from the front. And it fits kind of in the balancing argumentation stuff. A heavy tank is all about the armor. If you take the relevance of its armor, what is the heavy tank good for? Yeah, most of the time it has a very competitive tank gun, except for the Churchills maybe. However, just think about this. The Type 62 has practically a gun that is very comparable, together with its ammunition, to the Tiger H1 and the heavy tank number 6. And furthermore, it has a stronger APCR shell at its disposal than the Tiger E, which is currently 0.3 higher in battle rating. And that is on a light tank. I had no difficulties when I was up tiered because it is just simply stupid to go head on with heavy tanks in a light tank. Regardless of the game mode, or whatever you're playing it. However, when it was top tier, it could do it. It could smack tigers right in the front and one-shot them. It was basically a different version of the T-34-85. Really? I ripped the flaps at this speed? Really? Oh. Alright. So that's my opinion on the Type 62. Furthermore, Gaijin has, according to Micro's Boom, announced that they will introduce the IS-7. It seems like as a reward tank, so it's kind of E100 all over again. However, the IS-7 is a completely different thing. And what's going on with this carrier? What the hell? Well, doesn't matter. Now let's bring on the actual topic of this video. It's about an awesome game. It's about late stages. It's about honorable gameplay. It's about game mechanics, sparking, something like the Blind Hunt or Avenger Order, and the value of critical hits. Very interesting. I think Gaijin should fix this. I'm not quite sure. However, the thing that I want to talk about is sparks in particular. What are sparks? Well, sparks are, first of all, there are two definitions. First of all, it is a visible hit, so the game gives you the visual effect of a hit on the enemy plane, but you don't get a hit registration, or in other terms, like it gives you a hit registration, but the shell does no damage, especially when you hit with multiple, let's say 20mm shells, or with a few 30mm shells, especially the MK108s. It's difficult to get guns on target in the first place. So when you hit it, you want to have a reward for it. And don't get me wrong, you can argue about ping and stability of the connection, packet loss and so on. What I'm talking about is under very good conditions, like a low ping, like 0 packet loss, stable connection, and your opponent does have it as well. Don't get me wrong, I kind of understand the difficulties in a mechanical way, like, or let's say technological way, like how Gaijin operates its servers and so on, which is an advanced system as far as I understand it, and in most cases it works. However, currently we have an increased amount of spark, and you will see later on what I'm talking about. Sparking is annoying, especially when you shoot at enemies and you have a limited amount of, let's say, ammunition at your supply, or you can run through your ammunition very quickly, like in the Seafire. 460 rounds sounds a lot, but per gun, that's more like 115 shells. Those Hispano Mark 5s go through 115 shells each very, very quickly indeed. Especially when you make a deflection shot and the damage output of the shells is not very great. You have limited options. And that also is, again, why I miss machine guns. Because machine guns, show you how to lead properly, if you're not used to flying planes for a while, because you played tanks and on and on and on. And you're not used to the weapon system itself, like I think with MG151s, I'm kind of used to them. They're not the best weapons out there, but I'm used to them. You know what I'm talking about. So Hispanos, I'm very often overleading them, so overshooting actually the target, which doesn't help taking them down in the first place. So it might be a little bit my fault, I agree, but later on you will see a few examples where it decides practically the game. At the moment, I think not many things have actually been affected by the sparking. It might have been the experience of other players of my team or the enemy team, but I don't know that. I must go through the replay file and the server replay and must look at it of each individual player to confirm that. How many players are there on my team? How many players are on the enemy team? A lot. And my replay is actually not that accurate to, 100% accurate if I wanna look at somebody else's gameplay from my replay file, that is. The server replay really helps, but I have never used it, but from what I've heard. Let's put it that way. So, sparks are annoying, and the thing is, we had patches where sparking was not an issue, and also the damage output of, let's say, 50 cals and 20 millimeters were acceptable and were in a good ratio. Also, we had patches where, for example, the German mine shells were shell by shell deadlier than, for example, the Russian shells or the British Hispano shells. At least they felt like they were more powerful, but it was also by default always more difficult to get multiple hits on target, except if you were flying with the old Focke-Wulf 190 A5/U2 with the gun pods, the 6 20mm, then it was not really such a problem to get multiple 20mm hits into your enemy. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, you see right here on the left side of the screen, Avenger. And not just Avenger, also Blind Hunt. That is a topic that, I am split myself opinion-wise. That was not enough lead. Those two orders are, a key to find the enemy in air RB when you don't know where the last player is. And now I'm kind of in a turning engagement with this ME262, and I'm kind of in a disadvantage. Except for this critical hit. Damage off the tail. Keep that in mind. On an ME262. And I spark a 30mm shell. How convenient. And you can see me here doing some defensive flying. Elevator, rudder, rolling. And watch this. This guy lost tail control, but he's not down. Do you remember when I ranted about the P51 and the performance of 50 cals? That you do a lot of critical hits, but then your kills get stolen? Again, nice sparks. He should have gotten me here. That guy was the one that suffered damage to the tail. So he should not have been able to turn around and do this. This is how much sparking and, non-damaging hits affects the actual gameplay. Now the ME262 went down, and that's my third kill. So, great result right there. And there I write it in chat. You both should be dead. Now, this ME262 that attacked me here, he could have stayed in the air, but he should definitely not be able to pull off those maneuvers. And now the defensive flying begins. I had to do it with two jets. I was in an energy disadvantage from the beginning, and so now I have to, just figure out how I can deal with this guy. Remember, I have just 86 rounds left, and I hit this guy a few times. And I'm below him with less energy, less airspeed. Now he breaks off. That was a smart move by him, because I probably could have gotten guns on target, and he had the energy advantages. So he was able to pull off without me getting guns on him, or with him being out of the danger of me getting guns on him. And there you can see another attempt and another spark. Please notice, not even the paper doll or paper plane has popped up with any kind of damage registration. Yeah, my only chance here now is to drag him above my cruisers and hopefully at some point the AA will do enough damage. By the way, at this moment our team has actually captured the airfield. Great result right there. And now, to understand the defensive flying, you have to understand I'm low to the ground, which is beneficial for me in the first place. Why? Well, he has to go into flatter boom and zoom attacks, otherwise he probably can't pull out of a dive. And so, you know those vertical loops that you normally kind of do in boom and zoom attacks or energy fighting rather, it's very difficult for him to do. Keep in mind, he is the second last player. The other one is also in an ME262. I saw the kill messages before, but I have no idea where he is. And I am the last player of my team. I put some hits into him that actually registered. So now you can see how, unmaneuverable my Seafire is right now. And this is something that I have difficulties to deal with. When I think about a Spitfire, the first that pops into my mind is a Spitfire Mark 9 that has disgusting amounts of energy retention, turning capabilities, climb rate, and also maneuverability at any kind of speed. Now I wanted to get in a head-on, but he kind of pulls out of it, and we both miss each other. And again, I turn below, under him, into him. And now I turn back because he actually anticipated this. This guy was an awesome pilot. And again, I avoid his shots. And you can see how close it was. And now he doesn't pull up. And I nearly hit him. And there you can see another beautiful kill. Spar compilation. 8 rounds left. GG, no fuel. Wow. And he actually salutes me and congratulates me to this excellent defensive flying. Silent Shadow, big shout out to you. It was an awesome, awesome fight. And I actually was certain at this point that I put this video on YouTube because I think it is a great demonstration of so many topics in one game. And I actually asked him if I may shoot him down, and I just couldn't get the shots into him. No ammo. And I actually asked him if I damaged him. I pull up again because he tried to get targets on me still. The ME262 A1A is it actually has, kind of a weird energy retention. It doesn't have too good energy retention at higher speeds, so it can't really compete with other jets. It's not bad, but it's definitely not good either. But at lower speeds, it refuses to lose energy. Kind of historically accurate, but still, especially at very low speeds, it's kind of awkward how good it keeps the speed. Yeah, and I congratulate him to his very intelligent attacks. They were really great. So back to the Blind Hunt and the Avenger. Those orders, you don't get too many of them, and I rarely use them. But you can see the enemy team actually used it to spot me. I knew where they were because they attacked the B-24. And they actually allowed the B-24 to drop his bombs because he politely asked in chat. The next thing is this, rigging the system? Yeah, let me do the bombing, then you can kill me. Is that kind of how it should be? From a game experience point, it's certainly nice for both sides. And certainly because the bomber does not run at the end. I'm not quite sure if this is okay with the EULA terms. I personally, I don't judge all of them because, you know, oh man. 9 seconds until I'm repaired. The ME262 is coming in hot. He's having none of this. And I'm dead. And that was the A2A, the reward version. I like the camo scheme, by the way. Yeah, so it was an awesome match. And the question that I actually wanted to ask, do you think Blind Hunt and Avenger are okay? Yes, because you can spot the last running bomber. No, because it destroys late game engagements between fighters. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section. Anyways, that's it for this battle, and sadly I lost. I did my best, I tried my best. It was certainly not flawless flying, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. 4 aircraft destroyed. Granted, one of them was a biplane. 3 critical hits, resulting in nearly 60,000 silver lines and 3,840 research points. And that was enough to unlock the 150 octane fuel. So that was a nice battle in the Seafire. I talked a lot about certain different topics. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give this video a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we will see each other in the skies of War Thunder.